Hey there, and welcome to this deep dive exploration of some of the most mysterious, mind-bending ideas found in the Bible. Have you ever looked at the vivid, surreal images in the Book of Revelation and wondered, what if these aren't just symbolic or metaphorical? What if they're describing something tangible, something real, seen through the eyes of someone struggling to comprehend advanced phenomena far beyond their time? In this video, we'll connect ancient scriptural accounts with modern science, technology, and even UFO reports. Why stick around? Because by the end, you'll have an eye-opening, even radical perspective on angels, miracles, cosmic battles, and hidden texts that might change how you view the Bible and reality itself. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and tap the notification bell if you love exploring bold ideas at the intersection of faith, history, and cutting-edge theories. Viewers often decide in the first few seconds whether to keep watching, so let me promise you, stick around and you'll never see these ancient accounts the same way again. It's easy to dismiss biblical narratives as purely spiritual or allegorical, but what if they hold veiled references to advanced science, unknown dimensions, or phenomena that ancient people had no words for? In today's world, we've witnessed an explosion of interest in UFOs and interstellar travel, prompting many to re-examine old texts with a fresh lens. Could these biblical authors, separated from us by millennia, have inadvertently left behind clues about technologies and beings from realms beyond Earth, or even from parallel realities? Stay tuned, because we're diving headfirst into these possibilities, starting with some of the most puzzling imagery in the entire Bible. Let's start with a question that sets the tone for everything to come. Hey, what if these vivid, surreal images in Revelation are not just symbolic or metaphorical? What if their descriptions actually point to something real, something tangible, glimpsed through the eyes of a person wrestling with advanced phenomena? To ground this discussion, we'll focus on Revelation 4:6-8. Imagine John, a man exiled to the rocky island of Patmos, claiming to have a vision of the throne room of God. But what he describes is nothing like the serene images you might see in Renaissance art. Surrounding this throne, he sees 4 living creatures, each with 6 wings and countless eyes, covered in what seems to be both flesh and energy at once. They are nothing short of bizarre. Are they purely spiritual beings? Or could John be straining to describe something else? Something technological, mechanical, or perhaps even biological? When we think of a throne room, we might picture a grand hall filled with tapestries and golden seats. But John's depiction bursts with elements that defy ordinary imagination: eyes in every direction, dynamic forms of energy, and an overwhelming sense of otherness. In a modern context, if an individual had a close encounter with a highly advanced drone or even a bioengineered sentinel, how would they convey that vision without modern terminology? John uses the language available to him, wings, eyes, living creatures, to describe phenomena that could have been ultra-advanced robotics or biological mechanical hybrids. This approach invites us to wonder whether Revelation 4 is less about fantasy and more about an ancient observer grappling with technology centuries or millennia ahead of his time. Modern UFO sightings and extraterrestrial encounter reports often include descriptions of beings that seem completely otherworldly: large eyes, glowing forms, and even machines that defy gravity. Could John have witnessed something similar during his exile on Patmos? If so, everything he saw would have made little sense in his cultural or scientific framework. He had no language for spacecraft, no concept of biomechanical entities. Naturally, what he saw would be filtered through the lens of his spiritual beliefs. And let's not forget the powerful visual clues: the sea of glass like crystal described in Revelation 4:6. Some scholars speculate this might be an otherworldly material, a surface, or even a dimensional boundary, reflecting and refracting light in ways we're only now beginning to understand through quantum physics. Is this the floor of heaven, or a kind of translucent barrier used by advanced civilizations? Throughout history, countless cultures have described sacred or mystical areas as reflective, glassy, or crystalline realms, places where one might traverse between worlds. In some Native American legends, the other side of reality is depicted as a mirrored lake or a thin place that separates ordinary life from the realm of spirits or gods? Could Revelation's sea of glass be a nod to a literal technology, such as a force field or a massive transparent platform? If a futuristic civilization built a gleaming, crystal-like structure designed to regulate atmospheric conditions or energy fields, a first-century observer could only describe it as a sea of glass. This merges seamlessly with modern speculation about transparent aluminum, glass-like metamaterials, and even theoretical quantum membranes, making John's ancient vision possibly more literal than we suspect. Here's another curveball. The lightning and thunder mentioned earlier in Revelation, emanating from the throne, might not be just poetic language. Lightning storms and thunder-like booms have been associated with modern UFO sightings, where unknown crafts produce loud, sonic-like phenomena. Could the throne room be less of a literal throne and more of a control center, an advanced hub of activity beyond our current understanding? In Revelation 19:1, John describes heaven standing open and a figure descending on a white horse. But what if heaven opening isn't a simple cloud portal, but rather a description of space-time being torn open, like a wormhole or advanced gateway? And that figure on a white horse, could this be John's attempt to describe some advanced being or a commander arriving in a vehicle he can only liken to a horse? This isn't about chasing hidden meanings for their own sake. It's about posing bold, uncomfortable questions. What did John really see? And why does it sound so eerily similar to phenomena humanity is grappling with today? In some ancient mythologies, gods descended on chariots of fire or in swirling, luminous clouds. Could these older tales also be pointing to advanced vehicles misunderstood by early civilizations? When John speaks of thunder and lightning from a central location, we might imagine a high-energy reactor or propulsion system. If we drop the preconception that everything in Revelation is purely metaphorical, we open the door to a fascinating realm of speculation. Maybe what John witnessed was a demonstration of technology so advanced that it appeared to him like divine majesty. And if that's the case, who was wielding this technology and what was their purpose? Next, let's shift gears to a topic that's been staring us in the face for centuries: angels. These celestial beings play crucial roles in biblical narratives, showing up as messengers, protectors, and even warriors. But who or what are they really? Take the Gospel of Luke chapter 2, where shepherds in a field are visited by an angel announcing the birth of Jesus. The text says, "An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them. A brilliant light illuminates the scene, leaving the shepherds terrified." Now pause and consider modern UFO encounters, where witnesses often describe intense, blinding lights that make them freeze in awe or fear. Could the glory described in Luke be something more technological than purely supernatural? Angels have been depicted in 1,000 different ways across Christian art, from ethereal winged beings to bright, haloed figures shrouded in radiance. Yet, if we read scripture literally, angels frequently perform tasks that seem almost tactical or mission-focused. They deliver messages with precision, rescue individuals at critical moments, and occasionally engage in direct combat or defense. In our modern era, it's interesting to compare them to specialized operatives or emissaries from an advanced civilization, perhaps assigned to monitor or guide human events. If their technology generates an intense glow or a gravitational distortion, it could easily be interpreted as heavenly glory. Angels in Scripture often descend from the heavens or suddenly appear without warning. In Ezekiel 1:19-21, these entities accompany wheels within wheels that can move in any direction without turning. Could those wheels represent some advanced propulsion technology so far beyond ancient understanding that it seemed like magic? Look at Genesis 19, where two angels visit Lot to warn him of Sodom's impending destruction. Not only do they warn him, they physically intervene, grabbing Lot and his family by the hands and literally pulling them out of harm's way. These beings aren't ethereal creatures floating on clouds. They're active, engaged, almost tactical in their approach. The The idea of wheels within wheels has intrigued theologians and lay readers for centuries, spurring countless works of art. But if we remove the religious filter, it sounds eerily like a description of a gyroscopic or multi-axis propulsion device, something that could move in seemingly impossible ways. Ezekiel's vision might be interpreted as an encounter with a craft able to hover, maneuver laterally, and shift orientation at will. Modern drones can do some of this, but imagine technology thousands of years ahead. From Ezekiel's vantage point, the only feasible analogy is wheels within wheels, accompanied by living, intelligent presences. Such an interpretation doesn't negate a spiritual dimension. It simply recognizes that angelic beings might also utilize sophisticated physical technology. Now consider Daniel 10, where an angel appears to the prophet after he has fasted for 21 days. This angel explains that he was delayed by the prince of the Persian kingdom, requiring the intervention of Michael, another angelic being. This story implies a hierarchy, even potential factions among these celestial messengers. Could we be looking at a larger network, possibly even multiple groups or factions? If so, what kind of advanced civilization operates with this kind of command structure? Could biblical, spiritual warfare be a depiction of interstellar conflicts or territorial disputes that we, even today, struggle to grasp? The notion of angels facing opposition in realms beyond Earth hints at cosmic-scale power struggles. If the prince of the Persian kingdom is not a human ruler but an opposing entity, it suggests that angels aren't all on the same side and that Earth is but one theater of a far larger conflict. In a modern sci-fi context, we might imagine advanced extraterrestrial empires vying for influence over developing worlds, some aiming to guide or protect, others seeking control or exploitation. Daniel 10 could thus be read as a narrative of contested airspace or dimension space around Earth, with angels functioning as frontline operatives in a war that transcends human boundaries. Let's move to a topic central to Christian belief, the birth of Jesus. We're so used to hearing about it in purely spiritual or miraculous terms, but have we missed an angle hidden in the details? Start with the announcement. The angel Gabriel appears to Mary in Luke 1:35 and tells her she will conceive a child through the power of the Holy Spirit. Traditionally, this is seen as a divine miracle. But what if we apply a modern lens, like advanced science, possibly genetic engineering or artificial insemination? Imagine a process so advanced it would look indistinguishable from magic or divine intervention to a first-century observer. Mary's pregnancy is sudden, unexplained, and lacks a biological father in the traditional sense. Could the power of the Most High overshadowing her be an ancient description of something akin to advanced technology at work? In a world exploring IVF, in vitro fertilization, gene editing, and surrogacy, the idea of a miraculous conception might be more scientifically approachable than ever before. What if a highly advanced civilization possessed the means to implant an embryo without conventional reproduction? Mary's encounter with Gabriel, accompanied by her immediate conception, could parallel modern accounts of surgical implants or advanced medical procedures. This does not necessarily strip away the spiritual essence. Rather, it raises the possibility that the divine and the technological might have intersected in ways we are only just beginning to fathom. Then there's the famous Star of Bethlehem in Matthew 2:9. The star doesn't just appear, it moves and guides the Magi to Jesus' birthplace. Modern astronomers have tried explaining it as a comet or planetary conjunction, but none perfectly fit the behavior described, a star moving with precision and then stopping over a specific location. That behavior sounds more like a guided craft, what we'd call a UFO, rather than a random cosmic event. And what about the Magi themselves? They were scholars, astronomers, possibly experts in celestial observation. Whatever they saw convinced them this was no ordinary star. King Herod's reaction, ordering the massacre of male infants, suggests he perceived this star not just as a spiritual omen, but a genuine threat to his power structure. Many have speculated about the identity of the Star of Bethlehem, supernovas, conjunctions of Jupiter and Saturn, or even a rare comet. Yet the text suggests a star that acts with intention, pointing to a house or region. A 21st century perspective might interpret it as a hovering craft equipped with lights or energy beams. If we entertain that possibility, the Magi, being knowledgeable in astronomy, would have realized this was no typical celestial body. Herod's drastic response implies he, too, recognized that something far more tangible and disruptive was at work, a phenomenon that could topple his own political power if it heralded the birth of an extraordinary individual. Then we have Jesus himself. He's often described in the Gospels as having a unique lineage tied to King David and certain tribal heritages. But if his conception was the result of a direct intervention, could he have been engineered or imbued with traits beyond normal human capacity? His later life story includes miracles, uncanny wisdom, and a profound impact on countless lives. Could Jesus have been operating on a level that was not only spiritually transformative, but biologically extraordinary? It's a daring question, but in a world where we explore gene editing, synthetic biology, and quantum physics, it doesn't seem as outlandish as it once did. Some theologians argue that Jesus' ability to know people's hearts or perform instantaneous healings points to an enhanced awareness of human physiology or consciousness. If advanced beings had a hand in his conception, perhaps his genetic makeup included capabilities aligned with higher dimensional insight or quantum manipulation. Far from undermining his spiritual significance, such a concept might deepen our awe, presenting Jesus as both a bridge between the divine and the human, and possibly a nexus of cosmic-level science and spirituality. These possibilities challenge us to ask whether the line between miracle and advanced science might be far thinner than we realize. Now, let's recap some of the most famous miracles of Jesus, those extraordinary events that defy our usual laws of nature. Turning water into wine, healing chronic illnesses with a touch, walking on water, feeding thousands with almost no food, and even raising the dead. Look at John 2, where Jesus turns water into wine at the wedding in Cana. In modern terms, this could be molecular transformation, altering the chemical structure of water into that of wine. We already manipulate DNA and create synthetic materials in labs. Scaling up to reconfigure molecules on command would be mind-blowing, yet not necessarily impossible if you had unparalleled knowledge. To the wedding guests, the transformation of water into wine was a joyous revelation of divine power. But suppose we imagine a device or ability that rearranges molecular bonds at will, something like a futuristic matter synthesizer. In a post-scarcity sci-fi scenario, advanced civilizations routinely transform base materials into consumables. Viewed this way, Jesus' miracle could be an example of how he leveraged a capability far outside the technological grasp of first-century humanity. It underscores not just divine authority, but possibly the presence of a science so advanced that it appeared to everyone present as a miraculous sign. Next, consider the healings. In Mark 5, a woman suffering from bleeding for 12 years touches Jesus' cloak and is instantly healed. No tools, no medicine, just a touch. And the text says Jesus felt power leave his body, suggesting an energy transfer. Modern science has begun exploring bioelectricity and electromagnetic fields in living organisms. If Jesus had an innate ability to direct these forces, healing might not just be miraculous, it could be a precise, targeted manipulation of energy that we're only beginning to understand today. Walking on water in Matthew 14 challenges our sense of physics even more. But if we consider advanced manipulation of gravitational or surface tension forces, it might fit into a realm of science we haven't fully discovered yet, much like how electromagnetic levitation was once deemed impossible. Imagine a specialized technology embedded within a person's biology that enables them to project or channel energy in focused ways. Some researchers today explore using biofield therapy or electromagnetic stimulation to accelerate healing. What if Jesus represented a perfected version of this concept, an organic biotech interface, if you will, allowing him to balance or restore the body's systems in an instant? As for walking on water, quantum locking and superconductivity offer faint glimpses into how matter might be suspended above surfaces. Could Jesus have utilized something akin to localized gravitational control, effectively neutralizing his weight over the water's surface? The idea might sound extreme, but so would levitating trains or wireless communication to a first-century audience. Look at the raising of Lazarus in John 11, arguably one of the most dramatic miracles in the New Testament. Reviving someone who had been dead for 4 days involves repairing cellular damage, restarting brain activity, and restoring bodily functions that had presumably ceased. Our current technology can't accomplish this, but the story presents it almost as if Jesus commanded life itself to return. Was this purely divine power, or could it hint at an advanced knowledge of life and death far beyond what we can imagine? There's also the feeding of the 5,000 in Matthew 14:15-21. Jesus takes 5 loaves and 2 fish and feeds thousands. Modern physics dabbles in the idea of manipulating matter at the quantum level. If Jesus had a grasp of such principles, multiplying food might not be as unthinkable as it first seems. Reanimation, bringing someone back from a state of total biological shutdown, pushes the boundaries of what we consider possible. Yet scientists are investigating cryonics, organ regeneration, and even partial cellular rejuvenation. Could Lazarus' resurrection be an early testament to a principle of reversing biological decay if you know exactly how to apply the right energy or instructions to cells? Similarly, feeding the masses might involve replicating matter at a subatomic scale, essentially duplicating existing molecules. If advanced science holds secrets to manipulating matter in ways that surpass our current knowledge, then what Jesus did might be less about breaking laws of physics and more about harnessing deeper laws we don't yet understand. So what makes these accounts so compelling? It's not just random displays of power. Each miracle served a purpose: healing, providing, revealing deeper truths about the nature of existence. And the consistent thread is Jesus' ability to interact with the physical world in ways that utterly transcend normal human limitations. But that's only part of the story. The Bible we know today is only a portion of what might have once existed. What about the texts that didn't make the cut? The ones deliberately excluded, suppressed, or forgotten over time? We often hear about how the canonical Bible was selected by early church councils, but the criteria behind those decisions can be complex and sometimes politically motivated. If certain texts hinted at cosmic dimensions or overshadowed simpler theological messaging, they might have been set aside or outright banned. The result is that we have a curated set of writings that emphasize particular aspects of faith, while other intriguing material, potentially describing advanced knowledge, remains hidden or lost. This sets the stage for exploring lost books like the Book of Enoch, which may offer shocking narratives that align surprisingly well with modern theories of extraterrestrial involvement or advanced ancient technology. Among these lost or banned texts, one stands out: the Book of Enoch. Its contents are so provocative that early church leaders decided it didn't belong in the canon. But why? What truths might it contain that were considered too dangerous or controversial to be included? The Book of Enoch dives into a narrative unlike anything else in the Bible. It speaks of the Watchers, a group of celestial beings who descended to Earth. They aren't depicted as benevolent angels. Instead, they are rebellious entities who defied their purpose, interacted with humans, and shared knowledge that forever altered the course of human evolution. In some versions of the Book of Enoch, these Watchers introduce forbidden arts, teaching humanity how to forge weapons, read the stars, and practice sorcery. From a modern standpoint, this could be interpreted as an advanced civilization imparting technological know-how far ahead of its time. Could the Watchers be akin to rogue extraterrestrial scientists or explorers who breached interstellar protocols by interacting with a developing species? If so, the Book of Enoch's removal from canon might have been motivated by fears that it offered an alternate explanation for human progress, one that involved angelic or alien intervention, challenging challenging orthodox teachings on divine providence. Enoch 6:1-2 describes how these watchers took human wives and bore offspring called the Nephilim, described as giants and men of renown. But their involvement went far beyond that. They taught humans technologies and skills, metallurgy, weapon making, astronomy, and even enchantments, suggesting ancient humanity's rapid advancement might have been jump-started by external intervention. This aligns surprisingly well with accounts from other ancient cultures. The Sumerians wrote of the Anunnaki, beings who came from the heavens and imparted wisdom. Indian texts like the Mahabharata describe flying craft known as vimanas with astonishing technical detail. If we look at the global tapestry of myths and legends, a recurring theme emerges: advanced beings from the skies granting knowledge or tools that shift the course of human development. The Book of Enoch simply frames this narrative within a Judeo-Christian context, naming these visitors watchers. But the parallels with the Anunnaki or the gods of other mythologies are hard to ignore. Could it be that we're seeing multiple cultural interpretations of the same event, some cosmic-level intervention in human affairs? If so, the omission of Enoch from the biblical canon might reflect an effort to maintain a more uniform theological narrative that keeps the origin of advanced knowledge strictly divine, rather than partially extraterrestrial or angelic. But the watchers weren't benevolent. The Book of Enoch portrays them as reckless, disrupting the natural order and corrupting humanity, leading to catastrophic consequences, culminating in the Great Flood. Genesis 6:4 briefly mentions the Nephilim but gives almost no context. The Book of Enoch fills in those gaps with unsettling specifics. This raises a crucial question. Why was this narrative excluded from the mainstream biblical canon? Maybe because it challenged the simpler, more streamlined view of divine order. The Watchers blur the lines between angels, gods, and extraterrestrials in ways that could upend traditional theology. If early church authorities sought to emphasize human sin and redemption, then a story of cosmic beings intruding upon earthly life might complicate the narrative. It suggests that some of humanity's struggles and falls were triggered by external manipulation, not just innate human weakness. Moreover, if these powerful beings taught humans forbidden arts, it points to knowledge that originated outside Earth's domain. Such an idea runs parallel to modern conspiracy theories about aliens guiding human evolution, an idea that challenges orthodox teachings on free will and divine sovereignty. Whether one views Enoch's account as literal truth or metaphorical allegory, it's undoubtedly a text that opens the door to a cosmic worldview not found in the official Bible. The implications are profound. If the Watchers were real, their story isn't merely spiritual, it's historical. The technologies they introduced, the offspring they created, and the chaos they unleashed might point to an ancient link between humanity and beings from beyond Earth. Nor is Enoch alone in this. Other banned books, like the Gospel of Judas and the Apocalypse of Peter, contain similarly disruptive ideas. They often hint at realities that mainstream teachings have resisted for centuries, painting a richer, more complex picture of spiritual and cosmic interplay. Consider how mainstream Christianity would have evolved if texts like Enoch were openly integrated. Believers might have developed a theology that includes the possibility of multiple advanced realms, with various factions influencing humanity for good or ill. We might even have a more explicit cosmic dimension in Christian doctrine, viewing Earth as a smaller component of a sprawling universe filled with intelligences far older and more technologically adept than we are. This doesn't necessarily invalidate faith. It might deepen it, offering a grander scale of creation that includes all sorts of beings, each with their own role in the divine drama. Switching gears, the resurrection of Jesus is frequently hailed as the ultimate miracle. But when you dissect it, it's far more than a mere spiritual triumph. It challenges our entire understanding of time, space, and reality. First, consider the core event. Jesus' tomb is found empty, despite being sealed and guarded. Then, in John 20:19, Jesus appears to his disciples in a locked room. The The text explicitly states the doors were locked, yet he stands among them. This detail is often brushed aside as a metaphor, but what if it's literal? The idea of bypassing physical barriers without opening a door sounds eerily similar to modern accounts of entities moving through dimensions or manipulating matter at the quantum level. Multiple dimension or extra-dimensional theories can shed light on how a resurrected figure might pass through walls or locked doors. In quantum mechanics, particles can tunnel through barriers, although not on the macro scale of a human body. Yet, if there exists a higher dimensional framework, something like a 4D or 5D space, then stepping into a locked room might be akin to taking a shortcut through dimensions our 3D perspective can't perceive. Could Jesus' resurrection body have been tuned to higher dimensional operations, allowing him to move in ways that defy normal physics? Such a perspective lends new weight to the concept of a glorified body, fusing the spiritual and physical through advanced processes we have yet to grasp. In modern physics, theories like string theory suggest multiple dimensions exist beyond the three we experience every day. If Jesus' resurrection involved transitioning between these dimensions, it wouldn't just be miraculous, it would be a demonstration of advanced knowledge about the very structure of reality. Then there's the story of Mary Magdalene in John 20:17. She encounters the risen Jesus and he says, "Do not hold on to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father." This implies his body wasn't fully stabilized, like he was in a transitional state, shifting between phases of existence. It's reminiscent of what modern scientists talk about as energy shifts or quantum state changes. Again, it's a clue pointing to something beyond mere symbolism. Ascension can be interpreted as moving from a lower vibrational frequency to a higher one, akin to shifting from a more dense physical form to one less constrained by physical laws. If Jesus' body had new properties post-resurrection, Mary might have been cautioned not to interfere with the process, similar to how delicate quantum systems can decohere when observed or touched prematurely. Though this sounds speculative, it resonates with the notion that advanced beings might have discovered how to manipulate energy states in ways that allow them to transcend normal space-time limitations. In a broader sense, the resurrection narrative may offer us a glimpse of what humanity could achieve in a far future scenario where science merges with deeper spiritual realities. In Luke 24:31, Jesus vanishes after breaking bread with 2 disciples, only to reappear later. This suggests the ability to phase in and out of visibility, possibly by altering vibrational frequencies or interacting with energy fields beyond normal human comprehension. Even the act of resurrection itself, reviving after death, echoes advanced scientific concepts, reversing cellular decay, restoring neural function, maybe even warping time to undo damage. These are far from fairy tales. They're ideas on the fringes of modern science, cryonics, regenerative medicine, quantum biology, though we're nowhere near Jesus' level of mastery. Think of how an advanced civilization might store and reconstruct consciousness if they've mastered the interplay between energy and matter. Jesus' resurrection could be the ultimate demonstration of such mastery, reconstituting his physical form while retaining his identity. The repeated references to him eating food post-resurrection show he was not merely a spirit or hologram. He had a tangible body, yet one that obeyed different rules. It's as though he bridged the gap between tangible flesh and a higher dimensional state, a feat that remains beyond our reach but not necessarily beyond our theoretical imagination. Finally, there's the Book of Revelation, a text brimming with dramatic visions of the future, apocalyptic battles, celestial signs, and the ultimate clash between good and evil. When you strip away the poetic language, you'll find descriptions that bear striking similarities to modern ideas of advanced warfare and even interstellar conflict. Take Revelation 12:7-9, describing a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fight against the dragon, Satan, and his angels. A literal battle in the skies, so intense that the dragon is cast down to earth. Could this depict an interstellar clash between civilizations wielding technology far beyond human comprehension? Wars in the sky aren't limited to the Bible. Numerous mythologies describe cosmic battles among gods and monsters. Yet, if we translate that imagery into a scientific context, we might be looking at advanced aerial or space-based warfare. Could angels and demons be metaphors for two or more opposing forces locked in a high-tech conflict, one that's spilled into Earth's realm? Revelation's apocalyptic tone might reflect the catastrophic potential of such a war, where human observers could only interpret advanced weaponry as divine or demonic wrath. And if these events are still to come, it raises the sobering possibility that Earth could be caught in the crossfire of a cosmic struggle we barely understand. Revelation 13 introduces the beast from the sea and another beast from the earth, wielding immense power and authority, deceiving nations and performing great signs, even causing fire to come down from heaven. In modern terms, that could be a technology or machine capable of manipulating elements, what the ancients might interpret as a miracle. The text also describes a global system of control, famous as the mark of the beast, preventing people from buying or selling without it. Revelation 13:16-17. This lines up uncannily with contemporary concerns about surveillance systems, biometric implants, and other advanced forms of technological control. Revelation 6:12-14 speaks of the sun turning black, the moon becoming blood red, and stars falling from the sky, possibly cosmic-scale disruptions or advanced weaponry. To an ancient observer, these events would be indistinguishable from divine wrath. Many interpret the mark of the beast as a prophetic vision of a future where commerce and personal freedom are restricted by high-tech identification or implants. We already see the roots of that in digital currency, RFID chips, and the rise of facial recognition. Could John have foreseen a dystopian scenario where an all-powerful authority demands allegiance via a technological mark? Likewise, cosmic-scale disasters might involve weapons capable of dimming the sun via aerosol dispersion or global nuclear warfare, or turning the moon red through atmospheric distortion. What if stars falling references meteor impacts artificially induced by advanced beings, or satellites plummeting to Earth in massive conflict? Revelation's surreal imagery might be a blueprint for catastrophes that merge spiritual themes with cutting-edge technology. Finally, the return of Christ in Revelation 19 pictures a rider on a white horse descending from heaven with armies following behind. But what if this isn't a literal horse? If you replace it with a highly advanced craft, the image becomes reminiscent of a commander arriving with a cosmic fleet, stepping in to settle the ultimate conflict on a galactic scale. The apocalyptic vision in Revelation might not be purely a matter of faith. It could be a glimpse of a future scenario involving extraterrestrial life, interstellar technology, and cosmic battles that stretch far beyond Earth's boundaries. Some have compared the white horse to a symbolic representation of purity or divine authority, but in a high-tech lens, it might simply be the best analogy John had for a vehicle blazing with light. Could an entire heavenly army reference a massive assembly of ships or beings prepared for a final showdown? This perspective doesn't negate the spiritual dimension. It might frame Revelation as a cosmic drama where spiritual principles like justice and redemption play out on an interstellar stage. If so, the second coming of Christ is not only the restoration of earthly order, it's also the culmination of a grand interplanetary or even interdimensional campaign against malevolent forces. Thank you for sticking with me through this expansive journey into some of the Bible's most mysterious and fascinating corners. From surreal imagery and revelation to the Book of Enoch's watchers, from Jesus' miracles viewed through a scientific lens to the possibility of cosmic warfare in the final chapters of Scripture, we've covered a lot of ground. If this video sparked new questions or challenged how you view these ancient texts, that's exactly the point. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you're as captivated by these mysteries as I am. Your comments and thoughts drive these explorations forward, and we have plenty more to uncover together. Until next time, stay curious. The Bible's hidden layers may be more profound and more relevant to our modern world, than we ever imagined. Who knows what else we'll discover when we dare to read between the lines? As you reflect on these possibilities, angels as advanced emissaries, miracles as scientific feats, revelation as a cosmic conflict, remember that each viewpoint can enrich rather than diminish the depth of biblical teachings. Whether you embrace a purely spiritual interpretation or lean toward a fusion of spirituality and science, there's no doubt the Bible offers a wealth of enigmas that continue to fascinate believers and skeptics alike. Perhaps the real journey lies in keeping our minds open, allowing ancient texts to converse with modern ideas so we might glimpse the full expanse of existence, a reality that might be far more wondrous and far more vast than we ever dared to believe.